Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation. If you've ever wanted to make peace with your money, then do we have the Happy Money Show for you. Today I'll be talking with Zen Millionaire Ken Honda, the best-selling author of over 50 books with nearly 8 million copies sold and the author of a brilliant book on changing your relationship with money, Happy Money. And that's just what I want to talk with him about today, about the Japanese art of making peace with your money. That, plus we'll talk about candy and arigato, a daughter and it's not fair, the two faces of money, an all-boys Jesuit school, a money blueprint and planet poverty, and what in the world a mysterious wallet woman has to do with anything. So welcome to the show, Ken. Are you ready to shine?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Michael. I'm so excited to be here. And I listen to your podcast, so I'm going to practice. Woohoo!
Oh, woohoo! Right back at you. I love it. That is an around the globe, halfway around the globe. So we just did a woohoo around the world.
Yes, we did. And we're matching colors too.
I love it. Unplanned, but perfect. So before we dive right into things, Ken, maybe you can tell us what was your early relationship with money, and then how'd you begin interviewing your dad's clients at age 8?
I was born into a father who was a very successful accountant. He's a great businessman and he's very smart. So when he was young, he wanted to become a millionaire by early age, and which he did. And so he wanted to pass on the information about money and knowledge and wisdom about money. So he started teaching in the most unique way when I was 5, 6, 7. He took me to the nearest shopping mall, and he showed me, there's a mattress and maker, and there's this fish market, and there's this vegetable place, and out of all these places, which do you think makes the most money? That kind of thing. So on a daily basis, he taught me everything about money, and my client often visited during the weekends, and I served a cup of Japanese tea to my father's client. And then I had this opportunity of teasing adult people by saying, "Are you making enough money, sir?" So they get saying like, "What?" So I had so much fun asking my father's clients about money and their business. So I was a very weird kid at the time.
I love it. And what was your relationship that you were developing with money by spending all this time and being, this is something that's not, I wish it was, but it's not, still not taught in schools. We don't develop a relationship with money.
Right. So I had a very good relationship with money because money is there all the time, even though my father believed in saving on money. So my father is a kind of person who just cut down all the costs, send a very frugal life. And that is a key to success. So I was brought up in an environment. So I was proud to say to my daddy, Daddy, I can make 2 cups of tea with 1 tea bag. And, I wanted him to say, "Oh, great, son." But he said, "No, it's not good enough. I make 3 cups out of 1 tea bag."
Ah,
That's the kind of person, even though he was making a lot of money, he was
yeah.
like that. And I'm sure you can relate to that.
Oh, absolutely. In many, many ways. So forgive me for asking. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want, but what
You can
happened?
you can ask any. Yes.
Thank you. What happened to one of your dad's clients and to your dad? Because I believe it reframed or it became actually a scar or wound, maybe perhaps, around money with you.
Yes. Yes. I think it's about when I was in the 4th or 5th grade. When I came home one day, my father was crying like a baby in the kitchen. And I was super surprised because my father is a karate master, fencing master, a very masculine guy. So I've never seen him cry in my entire life. And so at the time, by the time I thought men are not capable of crying because I've never seen any guys. I mean, especially Japanese guys don't show emotions. They have the tradition of samurai. And so I was so surprised, and my father by looking at my father. So my mother took me aside and she explained what's going on. She explained my father's client and also good friend committed suicide. And not only he committed suicide, he killed the entire family of four before he killed himself. It's called family suicide. That was common at the time to save your family from the disgrace of going bankruptcy. And the bad thing is, my father was asked to give a loan to the family, and he said no, because whatever the money he gave will go strictly to loan sharks. So he had the money for the family, but he was going to give it that money when they filed bankruptcy, so they can just live a year or something. But he didn't tell that. He's a typical Japanese guy with short words. If he told that story to his friend, client, the whole thing could be different. I think about it a lot. But after that happened, he became the chief of funeral, and he organized the funeral, the cremation, and after that, he was really slipping into depression. And we were probably fairly happy family before then, but after that, my father became alcoholic, and a little before that, my father's mother, which is my grandmother, also passed away. So he lost the motivation. So he went into depression and alcoholic, and then he got very violent with us. So I think money could harm people in such a big way is my very big shock experience at the time.
Thank you so much for sharing. I like to see these things from more of either a spiritual or holistic, a lifelong perspective.
Hmm.
And while that was, I can't think of another word other than horrific, maybe
Hmm.
it was the fire under you for your goal that you set at age 20.
Yeah. So when that thing happened, I really want to make sure I have to learn about money, otherwise I'll lose my entire family. And since then, I've been learning about money in my teenage. And when I was 20, I decided to be able to make enough money so I don't have to worry about money, or I don't have to worry about my family, and make sure that my family is safe. So I made up my mind to become financially independent by the age 30. That was a big ambition at the time.
So, and you had a unique perspective, a unique way. I love what you did. You went to different speakers at different events. You're reading every book you could about money, and you managed to, I have no other way to put it, score the most amazing mentor in the world. Who was that?
I had so many mentors. I was so fortunate. But one of them is Mr. Wahei Takeda, who is
Mhm.
called Warren Buffett of Japan. He made all his money by selling candies, cookies for kids, and so he's almost like a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory person.
Yes, yes.
And he built a castle of sweets, sweet castle. It's a real castle. It's big, so all the kids can be entertained. He wanted to pay back that because he made all the fortune from kids, so he wanted to give back to the community. And since he was 50 or so, he started giving away his wealth. And one of the unique one is he started giving away gold coins, and he set up a company to make gold coins for himself. And then whenever he finds a beautiful smile, he says, "Wow, you have the best smile I've ever seen. I want to congratulate you with my gold medal." And then the person who receives a gold medal is like, they know it's real gold because it's very heavy. And they usually, I've seen a few times, waitress cried because nobody said she has the best smile. And so I asked Mr. Wahei, why do you do that? And because he gives that all the time, he loses some equivalent to like 4 or 5 thousand US dollars a day, but he's a happy man. And he said, if you are congratulated with a gold coin about your smile, what would you do the next day? And I said, probably she's going to smile. Exactly.
Woohoo!
So I bought her lifetime of smile with only $600 coin. That's a great shopping, isn't it? That's the idea. So he has a very unique idea. of investing. But as a real investor,
Mhm.
he was a major shareholder of more than 100 public companies in Japan. So he's one of the wealthiest person in Japan. And so I asked him many things about money, investing, and the tips and all that. But he was like a Zen Buddhist monk. Whatever I said, his answer is very Zen. So it took me like years to really figure out.
I love it. He's going to answer that with a question, as Zen Cohen. Uh, this
Yes.
is, and I want to get to the rest of your story, but I just have to go here for a moment. This idea of him, in a sense, paying it forward because it's going to start a cascade of an event speaks to such a positive relationship with money. It didn't have the heaviness. It's at omoi. It didn't have that pulling down feeling to it. Instead, money is something that can elate people and bring them up and change the world.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. That's what my mentor taught me, and that's how I have lived my adult life.
Beautiful. So let's fast forward. Let's go to age 29. You've got this goal. You've got a
Yes.
child on the way. What is this grand
Uh-huh.
decision that you made?
So it wasn't a grand decision at the time. When we found out that my wife was pregnant, uh, she said, "Why don't we have a little time off?" And in my mind, that was like 2 weeks off, could be like 4 weeks off,
Yep, yep.
because my business was automatic, consulting and accounting firm. And so we started having a fun time. We gave her a baby birth in a hot tub, all
Water
the
birth.
unique way.
Awesome.
The water birth, yes. And I cut the cord, which was a little scary at the time. So, and I had so much fun doing it. And then 3 weeks went to 2 months and 6 months. And we ended up doing 4 years of just nothing but focus on our child. And that's the best time of my life when I think back.
Woohoo! Going from there, you're at the park, a fateful day. You're there with your daughter. What did you see and how did this switch everything?
So I had to organize my life and my business so it can run on its own. And I at the time I was a very good interviewer, and in my 20s, and I asked around people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s and 60s about what do you regret most when your child is small, and I got the almost like identical one answer. Everybody said the same thing. I kind of imagined that they would say, I should have taught about business or money or English or Chinese or whatever, or relationship skills or sales techniques and all that. They never said anything like that. The only thing they said is, I regret that I didn't spend enough time for my baby. And I said, really? That not anything specific or special? They said, no, 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 just the time with your family. Because at the time, they're already super successful. They have millions of dollars, but they cannot buy back their time. And I realized, wow. So even millionaires and billionaires want to buy back something that money cannot buy. I think I should give it a try. So I was smart enough to listen to everybody, and that's why I could organize my life so I could retire for 4 years, which I think was a best decision. And if you could somehow arrange your time and life, I recommend to anybody at least a month. And what I'm so grateful about what I do is that after I write about my experiences in my book, and after that, Japanese young guys started to take a maternity leave, which is unheard of. And
Wow.
I set the tradition. So hundreds of thousands of young Japanese guys are just having a great time with the baby. I think it's a bigger accomplishment for me than selling millions of copies of the book.
Well, that it if you take the time with your baby, you change the baby's life and you literally not only will you feel better, but you change the
Uh-huh.
world because you are helping them to feel so loved and supported. And there's so many studies about this that if you
Right.
can just be there for baby, it will change the ripple forward in their life cannot be understated.
Right. But unfortunately, I asked my daughter, "Do you remember? I wrote, I read 100 times, fun picture books," and she said, "I don't remember any of that." So like, oh
Oh,
my God, my 4 years of investing, she doesn't remember, but I know it's in her system
yeah.
somewhere. And she's a happy person, so I'm not complaining. But everything I did is kind of forgotten, which is okay because it's in my memory.
So let's go from there and reading books to you saw a situation in a park, you ended up putting out a pamphlet, a 26-page
Mhm.
humble pamphlet on money. How did that take off and how many books have you written now on money?
Everybody loves this story. When I was doing a semi-retirement for my baby girl, I had all the time in the world. So we spent most of our time in a big park. And one time I was having a fun time, singing with my daughter when she was like 2, 3. The funny thing is that there's another couple. There's another mother, and a daughter. So I kind of witnessed observing what they're doing. And after about like 2 minutes of doing in the swinging, and mother said, "We have to go home." And I said, "Oh, really? You spent only 2 minutes?" And she was saying, "Mommy has to go to work, so you have to go." And she was crying. Well, we just came here, and then she was crying, and she was literally, dragging, pulling her daughter off of the swing, and then she was crying all the time, and then disappeared. And we were left, and I was crying too because I could really feel the pain of the little girl and the pain of the mother. And I wonder, what happened, what's going on. And I realized that people have to work and people have to make a living because of money. And if they knew more about money, and if they somehow have the money work for you instead of you work for money, her life and entire family's destiny would be so different. And then I got the inspiration. Maybe there's something I know and they don't know. And I started writing. That became a 26-page of little booklet. That's how everything started.
And that became 100,000 copies given away, became a publisher, became at least 50 books, which brings us around now. I'm sure there are parts of the story I'm not getting quite right. Brings us around now to the mystery wallet woman.
Yes. I was at the party, and a Japanese woman approached me and she said, "Can I take a look at your wallet?" And in Japan, somehow at the time, the fashionable thing is like all the celebrities, like Justin Bieber and all those people, movie star, Tom Cruise, what kind of wallet they have. And Japanese people believe that a wallet is somehow a vehicle of your abundance. And they just have, you're supposed to have a shiny wallet, you're supposed to have a little one, the yellow one or whatever. So I said, okay, make sure that you give it back to me. And then, so I was chatting with somebody, but I was making sure that she's not running with it. And she was taking off all my bills,
Yeah.
$10 bill and $100 bills, and she was checking, and she was just saying, "This is good, this is good, this is great." And I got so curious, what is this woman doing? And I asked her, "What are you doing?" And she put them all back and said, she returned the wallet to me and she said, "Ken, you're good to go. Your money is great." I asked her, "What is it?" And she said, "Your money was smiling, all of it. So that means you're receiving money by doing what you love, and you made a lot of people happy. That's why your money is smiling in your wallet." And I said, "Wow, that's interesting." And she went on to say, on the other hand, if you're making money by doing what you don't like, most of us, and by taking advantage of other people, your money is crying or getting angry in your wallet. And wow. And after I went back to the hotel, I thought about it for a few hours. And I realized that my mission is to make all the money smile in the world. That's why I've been so inspired to write many books on happiness and money. And I finished writing my first English book, Happy Money. So it's a excerpt of what I teach, out of all the 140 books into one book. It's a very simple read.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like below. Also, leave your comments. Have some real fun with it. Subscribe to our channel where you're going to get more great videos, more interviews coming up. And check out our website, inspirenationshow.com. That's where you'll find tips, blogs, information, videos you won't find anywhere else, and useful and helpful resources to really help you kickstart your life and to shine bright. Thanks so much again. Thank you for your support. Like, comment, subscribe. See the website. Thanks so much and have fun. Of course, shine bright. Woohoo!